What's up, everybody? Back with another Starville video. It's nice to be back. Was a bit busy the past couple of days as I do have a job that requires me to stay up at night the past couple of days, and unfortunately I can't record during it, so I'm kind of just like chilling there. I'm like, oh, maybe when I get home, and then I sleep, and I'm like, oh, I have to go back to work, infinite loop. But we are here to talk about why you should not summon for Blade. And this video technically also applies to Kafka, as much as that hurts to say, because I do want to summon for Kafka, and I will have a summoning video, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that. I don't know how deep I'll go yet, but I do definitely want Kafka. But anyway, enough about her. This is about Blade for the most part. Now, you're probably wondering, why should we not summon? Isn't Blade really good? I've seen Blade solo content. I've seen Blade with a healer solo content. He does so much damage. His counters are so cool, right? And this is more so about Blade's kind of role on a team, that other than Blade being OP or not OP enough. I think Blade is pretty good. I like the whole consume HP, counter, do a lot of damage, heal up kind of thing. It's very cool, but it's also a very cool character. However, we have had 4 banners so far: Zele, Jingyun, Luocha, and Silverwolf. These characters' roles are hyper carry, healing, and support. Well, I guess more so debuffing support than, buffing support for Silverwolf. But pretty much what those means is Zele and Jingyun, those were whatever hyper carry you wanted. The game just came out, right? You either get Zele or you get Jingyun. If you don't have those two, you're missing out on a really good hyper carry. You can use other characters, but they're not going to perform as well as those two, as, Zele's best single target DPS, Jingyun's best AoE DPS, unless you get really lucky with Clara's counters, but regardless of that. So you'd want those, right, for your hyper carries. And then Silverwolf is the only character, even through leaks, like even if you know leaks, all that stuff, there's no character that does Silverwolf does. She is so valuable, really good for lowering defense, really good for applying weakness. Her E is insanely good outside of battle. I love it so much. Very unique character, right? So that's why people were like, hey, you should summon, because there's more than likely not going to be a character like this for a while. Then you get Luocha. Now, Luocha was probably the one people should have summoned on the most, and that is because he is your second healer. Now, I know people are like, okay, well, what about Bailu, right? The thing with Bailu is she's not guaranteed. Unless you summon 300 times on the standard banner, which I don't recommend. You definitely shouldn't be using your summons that aren't the free tickets on that banner. You should focus on using them on the special banners with the new characters like Blade, Kafka, whoever's next, right? So you are down to Natasha. Now, I got lucky and I have Bailu, so I don't really need Luocha, even though I did summon for him for certain reasons. I won't explain that too much, but I got lucky. However, if you didn't get lucky, you are stuck with Natasha. That is one healer, and you need 2 teams. Now, I've seen people clear Memory of Chaos without a healer, but you are at a big disadvantage going forward in future teams. And if your team's not good enough, you're like, okay, well, I need a healer on this team. A shielder is enough. You're kind of out of luck. That's why Luocha was really good to summon on, because you could guarantee him if you summon enough, or if you just won the 50-50, right? He's a lot more easier to obtain than Bailu, who's kind of just throwing your luck out there and hoping you get her. So, right? Pretty good character to summon on. And now Blade is the next step. Now, he is DPS, and he's a pretty good one. He does a lot of damage from what I've seen. Very cool character. However, unless you are lacking a DPS, you don't need him, right? Now I have Jingyun, right? Now I have Yangqing. Those are their teams are what I'm basing my 2 teams around for Memory Chaos. One of them is I'm running Bailu, Jingyun, Silverwolf, Jingyun, right? And then the other team, I'm still working on it, but I got Natasha on it, Jeopard, Yangqing, and then I'm probably gonna figure out who my last one's gonna be. And it does a pretty good job of keeping everybody alive, right? Now, I only have that luxury because I pulled 2 hyper carries. You don't need 2 hyper carries. I could just get away with using a 4-star like Su Shang or Don Hang, right? As long as you have 1 hyper carry, you can pretty much scrap together a makeshift team and somewhat build it up, and you should be somewhat okay for most of Memory of Chaos. I think I got to stage 7 or so last time. No, my characters aren't fully built up. But regardless of that, I did pretty well with just one hyper carry. So if you don't have a hyper carry, definitely grab Blade if you want to summon, or Kafka if you want her to be your hyper carry. If you already have one, you really don't need Blade. He does not doing anything special. His counters are cool and all, but at the end of the day, he's literally just there to do damage. And there's going to be other characters that do damage. Most of the characters in this game that do damage are either going to be, okay, I already have a Wind DPS and Don Hang, alright? Just use him. Or, you know, this new character is so much better, or whatever, you know? Damage dealers are going to be just the most populated type in Star Rail. Supports and healers and whatnot are probably going to be the better characters to summon on. And of course, as time goes on, the need to have certain characters role fulfilled will be less needy, right? Like when there's like 7 healers out, you've had enough time to, if you need a healer, to grab one at that point. At least I'd hope so, unless they put them all together, right? So you don't really need to worry about a healer. Eventually, probably from like a year from now, will be the point where, as long as you've been playing for the most part, you probably won't need to summon for a role fulfillment. You'll just summon for who you want. But at the beginning of the game, having your teams built and having the synergy needed to beat the harder events is definitely needed. You're missing out on a lot of currency and a lot of materials if you're not able to beat the harder content, especially as time goes on. I've already missed out on a good chunk of it myself, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to help you guys not make the mistake of just having like 20 DPS characters, and it's like, okay, they're great, they do a lot of damage, but your only shielder is Trailblazer on March 7th, and you have your one healer in Natasha. You don't have enough sustainability to beat the hard events, and you're kind of screwed, right? Definitely don't fall into that trap. But otherwise, that'll be it for the video. This is more so Blade's role than Blade himself. Like I said, very good character. Kafka is the same exact thing. I think she'll do a lot of damage as well, but she falls under the same niche of just being a DPS. Now, like I said before, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. As always, helps me out a bunch. And of course, there will be character guides. You know, what's the best set for Blade? Should you summon for Blade? That'll be a more so, is Blade's kit good enough as a DPS to warrant you summoning on him? Other than, you know, this video being more of a team building guide video. And of course, I'll have Kafka summons, all that good stuff. So hit the subscribe button. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next Honkai Star Rail video.